Joshua 11. It happened when Jabin, king of Hazor, heard, he sent to Jobab, king of Madon, to the king of Shimron, and to the king of Ashaph, and to the kings who were from the north in the mountain, and in the plains south of Kinnereth, and in the lowland, and in the districts of Dor to the west, the Canaanite on the east and on the west, and the Amorite and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, and the Jebusite in the mountain, and the Hivite at the foothills of Hermon in the land of Mizpah. They went out, they and all their camps with them, many people, as numerous as the sand on the seashore, and very many horses and chariots. All these kings gathered together. They came and encamped together at the waters of Merom to wage war with Israel. Hashem said to Joshua, "Do not fear them, for tomorrow at this time I will deliver them all as corpses before Israel. You shall hamstring their horses and burn their chariots in fire." Joshua and all the people of war with him attacked them suddenly at the waters of Merom and fell upon them. Hashem delivered them into the hand of Israel, and they struck them and pursued them all the way to the great Sidon and Misrephoth Maim, and to the valley of Mizpeh, eastward. They struck them until they had not left them a remnant. Joshua dealt with them as Hashem had told him. He hamstrung their horses and burned their chariots in fire. Joshua turned back at that time and conquered Hazor and struck its king with the sword, because Hazor had formerly been the leader of all those kingdoms. They smote every soul that was in it, destroying them by the edge of the sword. Not a soul was left. He burned Hazor in fire. Joshua conquered all the cities of these kings and all their kings. He struck them with the edge of the sword, destroying them, as Moses, the servant of Hashem, had commanded. However, all the cities whose walls remained steadfast, Israel did not burn. Only Hazor alone did Joshua burn. All the spoils of these cities and the livestock the children of Israel took for themselves as booty. But they struck every man by the edge of the sword until they exterminated them. They did not leave any soul. As Hashem had commanded Moses, his servant, so Moses commanded Joshua, and so Joshua did. He did not omit a thing of all that Hashem had commanded Moses. And Joshua took this entire land, the mountain and the entire south, and the entire land of Goshen, and the lowland, and the Arabah, and Mount Israel and its lowland, from the split mountain that ascends to Seir, to the plain of Gad in the valley of the Lebanon, at the foot of Mount Hermon. He conquered all their kings, struck them, and killed them. Joshua waged war with all these kings for a long time. There was not a city that made peace with the children of Israel except for the Hivite inhabitants of Gibeon. They took everything in battle, for it was from Hashem to harden their hearts toward battle against Israel in order to destroy them, that they did not find favor, so that they would be exterminated, as Hashem had commanded Moses. At that time Joshua came and cut down the Anakim from the mountain, from Hebron, from Debir, from Anab, and from all the mountains of Judah, and from all of Mount Israel. Joshua destroyed them with their cities. No Anakim were left in the land of the children of Israel. However, in Gaza, Gath, and Ashdod they remained. Thus Joshua took the entire land, according to all that Hashem had spoken to Moses. Joshua gave it to Israel as a heritage, according to their divisions, to their tribes. The land then rested from war. Joshua 12. These are the kings of the land whom the children of Israel smote, and whose land they inherited on the other side of the Jordan, towards the rising sun, from the river Arnon to Mount Hermon, and the entire plain to the east. Sihon, king of the Amorite, who dwelled in Heshbon and who ruled from Aroer, that is on the edge of the river Arnon, and the middle of the river, and half of the Gilead, until the river Jabbok, on the border of the children of Ammon, and the plain until the Kinnereth Sea to the east, and until the sea of the plain, the salt Dead Sea, to the east, the way to Beth Jeshimoth, and from the south under the falls of Pisgah, and on the boundary of Og, king of Bashan, who was a remnant of the giants, who lived in Ashtaroth and in Edrei, and who reigned in Mount Hermon and Salcah, and in all of Bashan up to the border of the Geshurite and the Maacathite, and half of the Gilead, up to the border of Sihon, king of Heshbon. Moses, servant of Hashem, and the children of Israel defeated them. And Moses, servant of Hashem, gave it as an inheritance to the Reubenite, and to the Gadite, and to half the tribe of Manasseh. These are the kings of the land whom Joshua and the children of Israel smote on the western side of the Jordan, from the plain of Gad in the Lebanon valley to the split mountain that ascends to Seir. Joshua gave it as an inheritance to the tribes of Israel, according to their divisions, in the mountain and in the lowland, in the plain and in the land of the waterfalls, and in the wilderness and in the south, the Hittite, the Amorite, and the Canaanite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite. The king of Jericho, 1. The king of Ai, which was near Bethel, 1. The king of Jerusalem, 1. The king of Hebron, 1. The king of Jarmuth, 1. The king of Lachish, 1. The king of Eglon, 1. The king of Gezer, 1. The king of Debir, 1. The king of Geder, 1. The king of Hormah, 1. The king of Arad, 1. The king of Libnah, 1. The king of Adullam, 1. The king of Makkedah, 1. The king of Bethel, 1. The king of Tappuah, 1. The king of Hepher, 1. The king of Aphek, 1. The king of the Sharon, 1. The king of Madon, 1. The king of Hazor, 1. The king of Shimron Meron, 1. The king of Ashaph, 1. The king of Tanash, 1. The king of Megiddo, 1. The king of Kadesh, 1. The king of Jokneam in the Carmel, 1. The king of Dor of the district of Dor, 1. The king of Goim in Gilgal, 1. The king of Tirzah, 1. All the kings, 31. Joshua 13. Joshua was old, well on in years, and Hashem said to him, "You have grown old, you are well on in years, and very much land still remains to be possessed. This is the land that remains, all the districts of the Philistines, and all the Gershurite territory. From the Shihor that is before Egypt to the border of Ekron northward is considered to be the Canaanites' territory. The 5 governors of the Philistines, who are the Gazite, and the Ashdodite, and the Ashkelonite, and the Gittite, and the Ekronite, and the Avites. From the south, all the land of the Canaanite, Meara that belongs to the Sidonians, to Aphekah, until the border of the Amorite, and the land of the Giblite, and all the Lebanon toward the rising sun, from the plain of Gad at the foot of Mount Hermon until the approach to Hamath. All the inhabitants of the mountains, from the Lebanon to Misrephoth Maim, all the Sidonians. I will drive them out on behalf of the children of Israel. You have only to allot it to Israel as a heritage, as I have commanded you. So now, divide this land as a heritage for the 9 tribes and half the tribe of Manasseh." With it, the Reubenite and the Gadite took their heritage that Moses had given them on the eastern side of the Jordan, according to that which Moses, servant of Hashem, had given them. From Aroer that is on the edge of the river Arnon, and the city that is in the middle of the river, the entire plain from Medeba to Dibon, and the cities of Sihon, the king of the Amorite, who ruled in Heshbon, to the border of the children of Ammon, and Gilead, and the border of the Geshurite and the Maacathite, all of Mount Hermon, and all of Bashan to Salcah, the entire kingdom of Og in Bashan, who ruled in Ashtaroth and in Edrei. It is he who remained from the remnants of the giants. Moses defeated them and drove them out. But the children of Israel did not drive out the Geshurite and the Maacathite. Rather, the Geshurite and Maacathite dwell in the midst of Israel until this day. To the tribe of Levi, however, he did not give a heritage. The fire offerings of Hashem, the God of Israel, are his heritage, as he had spoken to him. Moses gave to the tribe of the children of Reuben according to their families. Their border was from Aroer that is on the edge of the river Arnon, and the city that is in the middle of the river, and all the plain to Medeba. Heshbon and all its cities that are in the plain, Dibon and Bamoth Baal, and Beth Baal Meon, and Jahaz and Kedemoth and Mephpah, and Mephath, and Kiriathaim, and Sibmah, and Zeres Hashahar on the mount of the valley, and Beth Peor, and the falls of Pisgah, and Beth Jeshimoth, and all the cities of the plain, and all the kingdom of Sihon, king of the Amorite, who ruled in Heshbon, whom Moses had smitten, him and the princes of Midian, Evi and Rechem and Zur and Hur and Reba, dukes of Sihon, the inhabitants of the land. The children of Israel slayed Balaam son of Beor, the sorcerer, with the sword, along with their other slain. The border of the children of Reuben was the Jordan and its border. This was the inheritance of the children of Reuben, according to their families, the cities and their villages. Moses also gave to the tribe of Gad, to the children of Gad, according to their families. Their border was Jazer, and all the cities of Gilead, and half the land of the children of Ammon, to Aroer, which is before Rabbah, and from Heshbon to Ramath Hamizpeh, and Betonim, and from Mahanaim to the border of Debir, and in the valley Beth Haram and Beth Nimrah, and Sukkoth, and Saphon, the rest of the kingdom of Sihon, king of Heshbon, the Jordan and its border, to the shore of the Kinnereth Sea on the eastern side of the Jordan. This is the heritage of the children of Gad according to their families, the cities and their villages. Moses also gave to half the tribe of Manasseh, and it was for half of the tribe of the children of Manasseh according to their families. Their boundary was from Mahanaim, all the Bashan, all the kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, and all of Havoth Jair in Bashan, 60 cities, and half of the Gilead, and Ashtaroth and Edrei, the royal cities of Og in Bashan, were given to the children of Mashir, son of Manasseh, to half the children of Mashir, according to their families. These are the ones to whom Moses distributed inheritances in the plains of Moab, on the eastern side of the Jordan, across from Jericho. But to the tribe of Levi, Moses gave no heritage. Hashem, the God of Israel, is their heritage, as he had spoken to them.